Hello, everybody, and welcome back to IBTM World 2023 and Ljubljana Talks. Here we have another session with two amazing guests. With us, of course, Petra Stušek, the CEO of Ljubljana Tourism and the president of CityDNA, and Senthil Gopinath from ICCA, CEO of ICCA, International Congress and Convention Association. Thank you very much for taking your time in this busy schedule and at this busy event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jan. Glad to be here.
Thank you. First, I will start with a question for both of you, because you're coming from two associations which are really, I would say, in the essence of the meetings industry in Europe, if we talk about Europe. How do you see the changes that have been caused through COVID to how your associations work and how you operate, and where the major difference is?
No.
Okay, I'll do that. Ladies first, I thought. Thank you, Jan, for the question. I think for me, particularly being a global association like ICCA, COVID has been a challenge, of course, but I always I told internally with the team and externally with all the ICCA members, even pre-pandemic, always my mantra is that adaptability is the key. As an industry, whatever we do, we need to adapt, we need to innovate, we need to create. So we don't need to have a crisis coming our way to do that, because we have evolved as an industry over 6-7 decades in doing fabulous work across the world, many countries doing a lot of extraordinary projects around the world. But more importantly, our client and the market environment has changed. So if you don't adapt with new concepts, experiential learning, experiential events, we need to get stagnated at some point. We are going to come to that level. So that was primarily we as ICCA implemented across the world in over 101 countries. ICCA is represented through membership. Very importantly, at regional, national and international level, we were adapting everything what ICCA has been doing. So if I give example, even 2020, even a simple webinar or a multi-hub model congress was launched. It's experience for all of us. We were learning, but that was needed to showcase the leadership role and also get our industry to learn to get into that adaptability mode. And I must say we were very successful in that.
Yeah, I have to agree with adaptivity. Oh my God, what a challenging word to say it, but even more challenging actions behind it. So if we go from global stage to the European stage, it goes basically the same for us, in a sense that the association itself needed to adapt even quicker, because what changed was people in general seeked more personal contact, which was challenging to combine the sustainable approach, the massive development of technology, how to use that, and then this need, the basic social need for human contact, and the meetings basically changed I wouldn't say drastically, because we're meeting in the same surrounding as here in general. However, they did change that smaller meetings are, done through technology, like boards that we have. We don't meet anymore in person as often. However, we meet much more often via technology, which pre-pandemic did not happen. And that was actually the key point to management that drastically changed, meaning that we adapted quicker, and we are through that able to adapt quicker. And that obviously has a positive benefit or effect on our members and consequently on our destinations.
My first question is, how do you imagine the ideal meetings industry? What is your idea about it? This is a question to both of you. What should be the value of such an industry?
Importantly, two simple things, if I may say that. We need to look at inside out. I mean, we need to be part of the global business picture. I think we as an industry has been growing immensely, but we're always looking at inwards. We need to start looking outwards so that we sustain as an industry long term. We need to integrate ourselves with other industry. The technological industry. I mean, you talk any other industry, we need to be a part of it. Yes, we started stepping into that with the pandemic situation. We started moving into integrating ourselves with the health sector, with the aviation sector. with many others. So it's fundamental that we continue to integrate ourselves. Then our value will be showcased among the global business events industry. The second part is that we need to continuously nurture about what we are doing to the unknown society. I mean, if you take the valuable innovation, the valuable creativity, the valuable adaptability just we spoke about, our industry carries on. But we are one of those best industries. I'm very passionate to say that in any circumstances, we'll come out of it. All our organizers, the DMOs, the bureaus, the venues, PCOs, they organize, they activate, they bring stakeholder engagement in the most difficult scenarios, most difficult situation in many parts of the world. But the rest of the world does not know what we do. So we need to showcase that over and over again. Then automatically our economical value will come there. Yeah. Because we say we need to speak to the policymakers, but for them to listen, we need to showcase. Only then they know the value. Otherwise, they won't know our value.
Absolutely agree.
Maybe just to complement from a little bit from my personal perspective, or concretely, what would be the ideal meeting? Definitely multi-generational, the young talents being there, which is now a challenge to attract them. That's one thing. And the second thing, that everyone who would be here would be really focused on, would be able to really focus on content only and not deal with emails at home and everything else, because nowadays the world is spinning so quick that you have to be even more multifunctional than pre-pandemic, but that will have to settle down, because we as a human race will not be able to race. Human race will not be able to race as much anymore. However, luckily, and that's also my personal perspective, the technology is going to help us managing that, and we need to use the technology to the benefit of that.
I'm coming back to your previous experience with convention bureaus. You established actually Sri Lanka Convention Bureau as a public-private partnership. So, Petra, you're running actually the Convention Bureau and Tourism Board of Ljubljana, which is a public institution. What can you say? Do you still have a contact with Sri Lanka Convention Bureau? How is it working now? And Petra, your question to you is how actually convention bureaus are changing after the corona, and what is the role of DMO from your point of view? And then we will come back to your associations again. Okay.
Sure. I think I can share. That's my one of the first roles I played. Very passionate. I was a university teacher, and then I joined a bureau. My dad was asking, "What is this bureau? What is the crazy decision to go from a university teacher?" But I looked at, again, like you rightly said, it's a public-private sector partnership, because that was one of the oldest bureaus where had membership concept, where members paid a monthly subscription and an annual subscription. But unfortunately, now it's gone back to a fully government operation. I think for me personally, I disagree with that concept. I think public-private sector partnership is the best format for any city, any national bureau, because all what we are speaking today, from skill development, younger generation engagement, all that, if you don't have public-private sector partnership, state governments cannot run that, because the policymakers are good in allocating the budgets, drafting the policies, but the implementers are the industry colleagues. So you need to have the stakeholders part of it. So I'm very much in touch with them. I in fact met them like a month ago to talk to them again, revitalizing the Sri Lankan MICE industry or the meetings industry. So I'm still very much close to them.
Yeah, I definitely agree that it needs to be more and more collaboration. Collaboration is a buzzword for years now. However, again, it's easier said than done. But the public money, it's less and less of it, and it's going to decrease. And we will have to join forces on destinations more effectively in the public-private partnerships, in a sense that it's a win-win situation for all. And I have to be very proud of our model, which Jan and his, we together, but Jan is leading it, put up in the destination, which is a consortium where we started with this even pre-pandemic, that everyone chipped in, even the public sector, with their funds in order for us to gain the events to the destination. But in general, just to touch upon your question, what is the new role of CVBs? In my personal opinion, is that on top of what everyone was doing in front of, before pandemic, getting the events to the destinations, making proposals that would actually end up in bringing revenue and business to multiple stakeholders at a destination. On top of that, two really, really important additional things came. Educating your stakeholders, which pre-pandemic did not happen that much. So everyone would understand better the basics and we would come quicker to the actual result. That's one thing. And the second thing is advocacy, because it's greater and greater need for advocacy on so many levels, on the regional, on national, but also on the continental, for so many different things, from sustainability to the actual useful regulation on your destinations. And that's also our new roles, which is very challenging, but very, very demanding and important. Yeah.
We touched on something I was about to ask, but
Sorry.
no, it's perfect. I mean, this is what it's all about. If once we open up a debate, you see how quickly we go into really serious topics and very relevant ones. And there's a lot of topics that we need to address as an industry. But there, you said collaboration is a buzzword, and my question is about collaboration. If we say that CityDNA and ICCA are two of, I would say, leading associations in our industry, how do you collaborate between the two?
I think I can proudly say that we collaborate very closely on many aspects. I mean, with Petra working personally, we're looking at next year a joint activity in Brussels. Our last 2-year agreement we're working on very closely, because for me it's a platform, common platform, like you rightly said, both of us are common platform for our members. So we work very closely in terms of content, knowledge development. Whenever there is an initiative by CityDNA, I always tell my team, share that data across, it can be only European, but I say globally, it's a great best practices and learning for other members across the world. So they can use the CityDNA model and do something in their own regions, whether it's Africa, Latin America, Middle East. So enormous, I can go on a long list. So our working relationship is extremely collaborative, I can say that. Petra, if I might say, she's the boss, so I have to ask her, she's the president.
Okay. It's the most valuable things, at least for me personally, is that both teams know each other so well that we really can collaborate on important issues in a very effective way, and that's what we're doing already for years now. So it's obviously that we also have a great friendship in a sense that we not only easily but more effective come to the results, and that's of utmost importance because it's important to show the European best cases to the world, but also the other way around. We in Europe can a lot learn from other best practices from other parts of the world, and it's amazing to have a content like ICCA has that you can actually extract the best from it, and it's at the end it's win-win situation. Yeah.
Well, amazing. I would like to ask two questions to both of you, which occurs during these 2 days. These are buzzwords you are all talking about. So for you, Senthil, it's about AI. What does it bring to our industry? And Petra, for you, of course, it's about sustainability. These two words were always on a plate at Ljubljana Talks these 2 days. So what is your opinion about AI? Should we be afraid of it, or should we be happy that we have it? And Petra, of course, in which stage is sustainability in this moment? And maybe you can even compare a little bit more Europe with the rest of the world, actually. So,
fantastic question. I think AI, for me, I'll take a step back to pandemic time, when this buzzword came, hybrid webinars, digitalizing meeting, omni-channel meetings. Across the world, I told all ICCA members, it's a compliment. It supplements what you are doing. Don't please look at it as a competition. And when we believed in that, we all succeeded using those models. We serviced our customers across the world, and we came out of that, again, talking about adaptability at the start. So exactly, we are in the same situation. We have been using AI in an unknown base. I mean, we even last night we were discussing at one of the sessions, Siri, for example, what we have been using. With our notice or not notice, we have been using AI. It was part of our life. So AI for me or to the industry, it's a compliment. We need to learn how to sort of not to master it, how to simplify our process, how to use the technology so that our life becomes better. And because we are an industry, like I said earlier also, we do fabulous amount of work in innovation and creativity in those segments. So if there is innovation coming out outside our industry, we are the best to adapt and to learn and implement as well. We don't need to become expert, but if we can't ignore it. And I'm sure it will really help our customers across the world that they'll be part of it. So in my opinion, it's never a threat, never a fear. What we need to do is understand, create awareness, and learn a little bit of that. We don't need to be expert, so that your customers, you can tell your customers what is it, because we don't need to be the Googles and the Microsoft to that extent. We need to be simply knowing the basics.
You gave me a harder question. For simple reason, because AI, I think that's my personal opinion again. I think it's really exciting that you can really use to your benefit for now, of course. But it's a huge question of ethics in the future. However, if we're aware of it, we have a chance to do it properly. Which is coming to your question, which is or wasn't the case in sustainability. Because we were not really, when we started to talk about it, we were not really aware of it. So we learned as we went in the past. Now it's still a lot about, now it's sustainability at some places is still something that is not tangible, they don't really know how to bring the whole destination in it. However, everyone is willing to learn, which is a huge effort. And I'm talking also about the other parts of Europe, of the world, not only Europe. But now we're going into the shift to the regenerative approach, which is not doing doing less harm to doing good, which is again a challenging approach if we haven't mastered the basic one yet. So that's where we are now, and there are a lot of great practices around the world. Just everyone needs to understand that whatever works in one destination not necessarily works in the other one, meaning that you really need to extract your DNA and work on that. That's the hard part to figure out as far as sustainability is concerned. But for me, the great news is, for example, was that really just a week ago? Just a week ago, we came back from Thailand, where we had ICCA Congress in Bangkok, and they were committed to do a net zero event, which is not self-explanatory for Asia, for example. And next year, it's going to happen in Abu Dhabi, and they already are starting to think on sustainable approach. And thank God that you, as organizers, are educating destinations. I don't want to say forced because it's could have a negative connotation, but in this sense, it's great that associations and organizations are actually demanding that from destinations. So the sustainability is going from the cradle of I don't know, Europe, outside to the rest of the world, which is for me the amazing news. However, we as Europe can learn a lot, for example, from the American continent on EDI, which is the part of the social sustainability. So the shift now is very, very strong, and it's moving very fast, and it's moving to the good direction, but it took us a while to get there.
I need to dig deeper. Yeah.
Yes, if I may, just very well said by Petra about a complete analogy about sustainability. But the two most important part, which we talk when we had the Net Zero Carbon Initiative, we all are part of that, and various other activities across the world. It's the knowledge and the investment. I think those two things are lacking across the world. First, you need to create that awareness, like she rightly said, that starting from the cradle, we are moving in some part of the world. The other part, governments, more than governments, the stakeholders in the industry need to invest some kind of a fund there. That's the only way you're going to move. Because if you have to take this action like Thailand did it, they invested a lot to get into that point, sort of educating their own teams, looking at what the model needs to be, what is the methodology to be used. So I think investment is very vital there as well.
I want to dig a little bit deeper to this topic, and then Jan will take over again. So, is it possible that AI will replace the jewel of your association, the database, so that the AI will be so good that we don't need any more ICCA database? This is, of course, a provocation. And Petra, for you, how to measure the regenerative effects? Is there any metrics available on the market? How to do it in practice? This is the second question to you.
Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think that this has been asked to me by a couple of members, asked in the past as well. ICCA database is all about in-depthness and what it offers in terms of the contactability. Now, AI will tell you what's available up there in the domain. Now, our research team who full-time works on it goes beyond the domain. Yes, definitely, if you're looking at how many, what are the key events held in Barcelona, AI will tell you. But AI will not tell you who's organizing, what's going to, what is going to happen, the model of the event, what is the objective of the association. That part won't be there. So, but having said that, I've always told our research team back in office, adapt AI so that it simplifies the usability for our members, So it makes their life much easier in terms of, instead of 5 researchers doing a work, they may be able to achieve the objective with 3 by having that as part of the tool.
Yeah. Sorry, but the word was true in the Kronos. Which metrics?
Regenerative metrics. Is there something?
Originality metrics.
Regenerative.
Regenerative metrics. Yeah, well, there are metrics to go from destination to destination. Whoever is approaching in the regenerative matter, in a sense that we are following the KPIs. How much is the local society effective? So this, for now, we are here because the most visible part, to leave the destination better as you came into, and to leave your print in the destination, not traveling to it, because that doesn't affect the destination itself, is at the moment the social dimension. But obviously we need to sustain, and obviously the environmental too. For example, if there are, beehives that would be built, like in case we did 10 years ago already in Ljubljana, or if the trees were planted, what you can do with NGOs for the local society. These are at the moment where the metrics stand. But this is a really, really personal in sense of destination approach, because every destination needs to have their own DNA that or DNA-based KPIs that they would follow on that. So it's hard to put, like, sustainability in general, but regenerative approach goes even deeper, and that's why it makes even less sense to make something that would be really one size fits all, apart from the basis, of course. No.
I have 2 last questions for each of you from my side. Time flies when you're having fun, right? The first would be, Petra, within CityDNA, you changed the summer school. Summer school is a key event, I think, especially for the newcomers to the industry. Can you tell us a little bit more about what the summer school is bringing on board and what it delivers? And in this context, the question for you, Senthil, after that is, at the ICCA Congress, we had some amazing sessions, which are really, really interesting, and you got a lot of data from your membership. If you could share some of the key takeouts from those sessions. Thank you.
Summer school is actually really, really exciting. Not even a project, it's a movement that is the longest project of now City Destinations Alliance, which used to be ECM, European Cities Marketing. This year we had 27th edition, so for 27 or even 30 years goes on, apart from the COVID times. The essence of it is to bring the meetings industry closer, or the understanding and the core of meetings industry, to the youngsters in the business, not age-wise, more status-wise, in a sense, how long are they in the industry for. Majority of them are in the industry for, I don't know, a few months or a year, but we also had people coming to summer school to learn the basics, even if, when they were working for years already in the business, and they understood the larger picture of the actual meetings industry per se, or maybe they were just in brackets from a venue, so they understood also other perspectives. And it's the summer school has a really rich faculty from the experts of all over the globe, not only European ones, and they are the ones teaching people, like 30 to 40 every year, from all over the globe. We had them from South Africa, from the States, from Australia, and obviously majority from Europe. They are bringing their expertise, but also basics to the meetings industry, so they have a bigger picture and they an understanding, and they are at the end. It's easier for them to do their job, and it's the benefit to the destination, but not only for the destination, for the continent itself. So it's a really important school that we are passionately doing it for decades and will continue doing it.
Thank you. I really always value summer school. So that's very nice to explain. I think the Congress itself, Jan, it's all, if I may reflect on the Congress, it's pre-pandemic, pandemic, and then reopening. We started looking at what's the future. This particular Congress is all about the inclusivity from every angle, from a business, from every other segment. So it's one of those highly inclusive. I learned from the members across the world coming from 80 plus countries. It's all about what's the forecast in an uncertain world. But primarily how we have changed our best practices, So across all these sessions, if you really see, nobody said that, oh, it's difficult time coming in. No, they all said that we have implemented best practice under every segment: legacy, sustainability, D&I, business practices, how DMOs operate, how venues operate, how do you do from an energy consumption point of view. So they all looked at the across the world best practices and to showcase that this is how we have been doing, and we are going to be staying ahead of the game and becoming a purposeful industry for the future. And they all showcase, I must proudly say that it's not because of ICCA Congress, they showcase that we have a bright future as an industry. So that's one of the summarized version of the Congress.
Very interesting. We usually finish with short fire questions. And you just answer shortly and explain a little bit all what I will ask actually. For you, Senthil, is live or digital? What will you say? Live or digital?
I think our life is all about live. Okay. I'm a great advocate of in-person event, not because of I'm ICCA CEO, but in general. I always feel that today this energy forgives me in a trade show. I do 20 plus event. It's because I'm in live in front of dear friends and colleagues and business partners. That's my energy all about personally. So live, it's the model. But digitalization is here to stay. So again, like I said about AI, let's adapt that part of it into our day-to-day life. So we are not going to compete one against the other. And I said this even during pandemic time. Digitalization came in. I made almost 924 calls to members across the world. I always love to quote that number because every call I enjoy telling them, we will come back. That was my message. Honestly, I didn't have an answer when we are going to come back. But I honestly told them, live events are there to come back. And yes, it took about 24 months in some part of the world, but we came back. So strongly, we are here to stay.
Super. And Petra, for you, Facebook or TikTok?
Oh my God. Do I need to choose anyone? Well, if it's black or white question, I would say Facebook. It's closer to my generation. However, I think that TikTok is a lot of fun.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for all of these fascinating answers. And I think we have a lot that we can continue on the next edition of Ljubljana Talks, that we can keep on going with these questions and getting more fascinating data from you guys. Thank you so much for your precious time and stay tuned.
Thank you very much.